Hello, everyone. So, welcome to the seventh module in the series Advanced Topics and Specializations in Medical Writing. So, this will also be the concluding module in our medical writing course series. It's not that we have covered everything. However, broadly, we have tried to cover the relevant topics in our medical writing course. And yeah, so let us go ahead with this final seventh module. So, in this module, uh, I have tried to cover topics which are offshoots of medical writing. So, such as when we talk about drafting patient education leaflets, which form a part of writing for patients stuff. So, guidelines, I mean, the key skills and style of drafting those content pieces will differ from the usual one. So we'll discuss that. Then we will talk about search engine optimization, the digital frontier. So how can you write to make your content as much visible as possible on Google and on internet? Then we will just briefly touch upon how to write a grant, right? Educational grants. And then how is writing for a CME content different from other writing stuff, other medical writing projects? So let's start with the first section, which is on writing for patients and the public. See, when it comes to drafting content for such topics, such category, uh, we need to be, we need to understand as medical writers, we really need to understand the fact that a layman will not be able to uh, understand each and every complexity of medical terms, medical phrases, medical jargon. So you have to, whatever you are writing in that document should be one, very easy to understand for a layman, and two, it should be able to help them. It should help them in a way that they are able to contribute in improving their disease condition, right? So you need to be very clear on the conciseness, on the simplicity of the language. And also, you need to keep this in mind that with this document, you should be able to educate them what they can do to make their disease condition better. So yeah, how would it differ from when you are writing for a healthcare practitioner? You certainly need to avoid terms like myocardial infarction. Go back and stick to terms like heart attack. Tone really needs to be empathetic because the patient is undergoing a disease, a pathology. So you have to be empathetic, kind, humble, right? And focus. See, you cannot talk about the disease burden for myocardial infarction or how MI cases differ demographically, right? You need to tell him what exactly this data means for him, that he needs to understand that okay, lifestyle change may help you in taking care of yourself, right? So, some common examples of such type of writing will be patient education brochures, fact sheets, website content for hospitals dashboards. So, the content which goes over there needs to be easy enough so that a patient visiting the hospital website understands what needs to be conveyed. Then plain language summaries also come under this category. So you need to be empathetic, you need to be simple, and the narrative has to be in the form of a storytelling so that he is able to uh, pick up the takeaways from your document. Now, coming to the next topic, the digital frontier, medical writing for the web. So, see, when you are first thing you need to understand that whatever content we have been asked to draft for web, the main purpose behind it is to increase the click rate, to increase the traffic over the website. So, the key point which you have to take care of is you have to use terms, you have to use keywords which are most frequently searched for, right? So, and again, as we discussed in one of our previous modules, Boolean operators. So, that type of search optimization techniques you have to keep in mind. And what will help you? Your experience, your expertise, your authoritativeness, and your trustworthiness. However, stick to the ground rule. Whenever you are writing, whenever you are generating content for a website, it has to, the sole intent of it has to be one, it has to be authentic, certainly, because it is a medical data, medical information, and two, it has to, it should be able to pull in the traffic. So, yeah, what we can also rephrase it as, it must be, the content must be discoverable. It should be able to generate more views, right? So, yeah, see, researching what patients and doctors are searching for, keyword research. So, for example, there are disease conditions like hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids. So, instead of writing hemorrhoids, also tag keywords like piles, which a patient would go ahead and search for. Your patient may not look for hemorrhoid, but he can certainly go ahead and search for abscess. So, what that particular disease condition means to him in his language, those words need to be a part of your script to make it more discoverable. And yes, headlines and descriptions have to be very compelling, because, as we all know, as we all uh, do it ourselves, the attention span of staying at a particular search result on Google, and that urge to click it and open it completely depends on how catchy it is, right? So make it catchy, make it authentic but compelling. So, what all types of content would fall under this category? Health articles, blog posts, right? Or website service line pages, website pages, then e-learning modules and video scripts, and certainly social media content for health organizations, the content which they circulate through various social media handles. Now, coming to the third part, herein we will not uh, teach you about how to write a grant, but just brief, very brief priming on the topic. So, grants are, educational grants we will talk about. So, educational grants generally are written individually or institutionally to a pharmaceutical company to sponsor a particular research study, right? So, the key feature of this grant should be they would be receiving many applications, right? Pharma company. So your content has to be persuasive enough. You have to show the company that you can deliver results. You can, their money will not go in drain. So, with that intent, you have to draft an educational grant, and then certain, yeah. And since the audience here is already having enough expertise in science and data, you have to be very authentic, you have to be very precise, and you have to be very medically sound in the language which you are using. And the key components, yeah, a grant proposal, like a research paper, is structured in predefined sections. It will have aims of that particular study, background and significance, all the literature review, then research design and methodology. More or less, it would be very similar to the to a research paper. And the crux of your grant document will lie in the section of need analysis. So you have to do, as a medical writer, when you are given the task of grant writing, you have to be very sound with your homework of doing literature review. Okay. So yeah, and then again there is budget justification, an entire comprehensive detailed breakup in the form of Excel has to be a part of that grant document wherein you justify what you are asking for. So you need to have deep scientific understanding. You need to have exceptional persuasive and exceptional good communication, especially the writing skills and attention to detailing while you are drafting a grant. Now coming to the next part, which is when you are writing content for the educators, for the CMEs. So here in C, when you are drafting content for CMEs, again in the conferences or the CMEs, there is a fixed uh, defined time slot given to a particular speaker. So the content which he is showcasing has to be concise, has to be catchy enough so that the audience over there is not losing its attention span, and it has to be scientifically sound, right? So the goal and update, yeah, we know the what is the goal of a CME. It is there to help an HCP upskill his scientific knowledge. And yeah, so your job starts with identifying a practice gap or knowledge gap among a group of HCPs. Then you develop content to fill that gap. Common deliverables will be slide decks. Then need assessment. Need assessment is in the gap market. If there is a market analysis and in the market of a particular therapy area or a disease area, and then if there is a gap identified in that research, so that will be called as need assessment, that gap, uh, uh, picking it up, है ना? So that we can go ahead and a pharmaceutical industry can do something, HCPs can do something for fulfilling that gap, for filling in that gap. So therein need assessment documents come into play. Then slide decks, certainly we all know, and then case studies and post activity quizzes. So you need to be able, because there is a limited time slot given to each speaker in a CME. You need to have the ability to synthesize vast amount. You should know how to funnel down the scientific data into something which is easily comprehensible. And yeah, certainly you need to have close collaboration with SMEs in this particular case. So with this, we come to an end. So just to give you a brief about what all we tried to cover in our course on medical writing. We started with the foundations, then we talked about the language skills and key skills which we need to inculcate or which we need to hone as a medical writer. Then we also talked about the key deliverables in the third and the fourth modules. Then we got an idea about the career path which a medical writer can explore. And then we also talked about the data, not as a statistician, but as a medical writer. And then here in this module, we talked about the other specializations, some offshoots, right? Spin-offs of medical writing. So as we conclude this final module, uh, I hope your journey as a medical writer is just beginning on a right note, and go forward with confidence, knowing you have the tools to build a career on a foundation of scientific accuracy and integrity. And keep tuned, stay tuned. We will keep coming up with some courses. And if you have some suggestions, then please go ahead and put them in the comment section. And yeah, so good luck. Take care. Bye bye.